Hi, this is Bryant Harrison with QuickFix. And in the years I've been doing IT and digital forensics for law firms, I've gotten a pretty good idea of the crazy cybersecurity world. And it also often sounds scary, but it doesn't have to. So we're going to go through and kind of take a pragmatic approach to cybersecurity. If the first thing to note is if the whole world was just 10 houses on a street, then cybersecurity is about making that one house special. What I mean by special is 9 of the houses have their doors and windows open and nobody's home. And the 10th house has locks on the doors and windows and an ADT security system. Can it be broken into? Of course it can. But low-hanging fruit is so much more appealing to a cyber criminal. Let's get started. There's only 3 things, really, that you need to care about. And that's your data. You don't want to be stolen, lost, and you don't want your business to get shut down because of a cybersecurity issue. So I'm going to start off kind of super basic, and then I'm going to ramp up and get a little more geeky with stuff. But that's okay. The basics are important. Vocabulary will be key right here. So this is not the hard drive. What hackers want is they want access to your hard drive or a hard drive because that's where the data is. That's where the credit card numbers are. This is where your data lives. So, so notice here, there's a hard drive like in a computer. There's an external hard drive like maybe a plug-in and backup, maybe your laptop or something like that, and then some cards for cameras and stuff. The cloud, we often get people asking me like, hey, I want to move my business to the cloud. Or I want to work off the cloud, but I'm afraid of the cloud. Well, the cloud is just this. So here's your computer, and here's a cloud computer. It's just a computer. It's just somebody else's computer that you connect to. So the cloud can be beautiful. It can be a wonderful thing because think of the first cloud service pretty much ever was email. I mean, who has an email server sitting in your basement? You don't. You use Yahoo, you use Google or something like that. You have cloud email because it's so much easier to manage. So a cloud service could be great because if that company, all they do in the world is manage servers, they can manage servers for you and you can get economies of scale with that. You don't have the money to manage an email server in-house correctly. Almost no small businesses do, which is why Microsoft Office 365 and Google Apps are so highly utilized by companies today. Okay, on to backup. This is a typical backup. You got your computer, you have an external hard drive connected to it, and maybe this is a server instead of a laptop. You back up your stuff, you feel good. No, this is bad. This is a fail. This is a false sense of security is all of this is. A lightning strike, nuke them both. Crypto locker on your computer, destroy everything. So this is a better solution right here. Have your data also backed up to the cloud. It can be HIPAA compliant, PCI compliant, encrypted. If an attacker is going to steal your data, they're not going to steal it from the cloud. You know where they're going to steal it from? They're going to steal it from that laptop sitting there or that server. They're going to go after that because that is way, way easier to get your data than it is to pull it off some cloud backup server. All right, so I have a story for you. Right in Charlottesville, where our main office is, a couple of weeks ago we had 2 attacks. They were identical. They were crypto locker attacks. And what crypto locker is, it's a very clever little program that will get on a computer, encrypt everything on the computer, look around the network, encrypt everything on the network, and then pop up a little window on the computer that says, hey, your files have been protected for you. If you'd like to get them back, pay us a Bitcoin. You have 24 hours before this expires. If you don't pay them, you don't get the data. And with the current variant of CryptoLocker, the smartest versions, I mean, President Trump could get CryptoLocker on his computer, and unless he had a backup, he's not going to get his data back. Encryption wins. So, back to the stories. We had a user, and they did not have any of our protective services. They didn't have the stuff going on that I'm going to talk about in this talk. They downloaded a quote-unquote fax. They double-clicked the fax. They ran the fax, but the fax wasn't a fax. It was CryptoLocker. It nuked their server and their backup drive and their data was gone, irretrievable. They did not pay the ransom within 24 hours, which means you can't pay the ransom. So luckily I had another drive, which was a week old, which we used to recover their data. They lost a week, but they were back up and running, thank goodness. They were down for a while. It was very painful. Now, that was on a Friday. Then the next Monday, we had the exact same thing happen to a dentist office in town. But they had a content filter. So what happened? Same fake fax got in, same user fell for it, double clicks it. It immediately beat our antivirus software. I mean, it beats all antivirus software. So it kills our antivirus software and then tries to download the rest of its components from the internet. Well, it fails because the content filter is blocking all the bad websites it's trying to reach. So on our end, what we see is this box that suddenly is making 1,000 requests a second to all these blacklisted servers. We say, oh, that stinks. What's up with that? We go and look. Oh, they have CryptoLocker installer. Delete. They're back to business. Didn't shut them down, didn't delete their data because it could not install. The secret sauce in that instance was a content filter. Save the day. And, cloud backups make your geek happy because there's nothing that your geek likes worse than to say, yeah, I'm sorry you lost all your data. Would you like a hug and a donut? Because I can give you that, but that's about it. Okay, so then the question I get asked a lot is, why do people do this? They're just so mean. No, it's all about the money. It's all about the money. So this is clever. Ubiquity in 2015 lost $47 million. And an email scam. I mean, when you think of email scams, you think of Nigerian princes, can you pay me money to help me out or something like that. But no, this is the way this scam worked. Also, malware is a $500 billion a year industry. $500 billion a year industry is a big business. This is not like teenagers in their basement we're talking about. This is organized crime. This is mafia. I think Ubiquity, I don't remember exactly, maybe it was like the Russian mob I think did this, but here's what happened. CEO of Ubiquity gets his email hacked. And what that means is somebody cracks his password, logs in, they have access to it. He doesn't know it. But they don't immediately start sending out emails. They read his email. They find out who's the guy he sends an email to, says, hey, CPA, transfer this money to this account here, transfer that there. What are the thresholds at which if it's too much, he checks and verifies. Well, that's a lot of money. Why'd this get transferred? Something like that. What's below the radar? Over a number, I think was it 2 years or something? CPA would get an email like this. Hey, John, how's it going? I hope your son is feeling better. I know he hurt his leg football practice. Hey, can you transfer some money here? The research that's done by the attackers is thorough, and it works very well. $47 million proves that. Okay. Now, I know I'm going over lots of scary, sort of creepy stuff, but I'm not going to leave it that way. What I want to do is go over the scary stuff, let you know what's out there, and then show you how you can be safe from it, how you can not be liable for it, and how you can be the one guy on the street with the ADT system. Okay. This is hugely, hugely important. Email is a gold mine. If you get into my email, if you could crack into my email, you would find out my bank, you would find out my credit cards, you would find out services that I have that are important to me. You'd find out friends and family. It's a huge gold mine. And number two, most people run their computers as an administrator because it's easy. But if you're not that, almost that when that user went to double click the fax, it wouldn't have worked anyhow. 90% is gone. So what that means is, first of all, get good email. And don't open emails from that's from a trusted source. Google and Microsoft have great business class email systems that you can turn on two-factor, and I'll talk about that later. And then you can make a standard user account. It takes a couple minutes. You have a standard user, and then the pain in the butt factor is that when you go to install software, it says, hey, type in your administrative password, and you have to type that in. But an attacker doesn't know that. That's the security. All right, here's the goal. Never, ever get hacked. That is not the goal. That is never the goal. Lots of big businesses, lots of money get hacked. You can't throw money at it to fix it. This is the goal. When you get hacked, don't let it shut you down. Don't let it kill you. Here's another goal. Don't be a target. Lies. That is not the goal either. My wife is an excellent example of this. She's a very benign sort of user. She was looking up patterns for oak leaves so that we, as a family, we could cut out the oak leaf. We could write, "I'm thankful for it." We could hang it on the ceiling, around our house for Thanksgiving. She went to the site. She got attacked. Pop up scan on her computer and says, "Your computer's been is infected with lots of malware. Run a scan now. You have like 5 bajillion malwares on here. Pay us $50 to clean it." No, that pop-up's the malware. That software that got on there is called a fake alert. It was the malware, and it tries. Sometimes the most benign sites are the scariest, because if you hack a benign site, if you hack a coupon site or a craft site, or maybe a site that likes pictures of cats, the users that go there are often naive and will fall for the scam. So a little while ago, not many people know this, but NBC.com got hacked, and they got hacked for 1 hour. If you visited NBC.com for during that time, and you didn't have the absolutely updated version of Java, which most people have Java on their computer, or Adobe Flash player, your computer would be hacked from NBC.com. This is not some nefarious site. So, no, the goal is the same. Should you get hacked, when you get hacked, it doesn't shut you down. That's the goal. Okay, so now we'll get into the meat of it. A cyber criminal is going to try to get on your computer, because again, that's the gold mine. He's going to try to get on somebody's computer you trust. CPA, that way they can send you, they can try to convince you that to get your money. They're going to try to infect a website that you go to, like the NBC thing. This is what happened to Target. Infecting computers associated with banking transactions. Target, they got a man in the middle so that whenever you swipe a card, it would go there. So, I mean, if you're a business that takes credit cards, that's the purpose of the PCI rules that recently came out. PCI requirements, the chips on the cards, all of that is because credit card companies are so tired of flipping the bill when some business has a crummy computer with no antivirus or out-of-date antivirus or out-of-date updates, and they get hacked and people's credit cards get stolen. Visa has to pay for it. Not anymore. Not anymore. If you don't follow the rules, you're liable. The business is liable to pay back the fraud, not the credit card company anymore. And that's why. It's about the monies. And last, call scams. Call scams are recently super successful because they're kind of scary. They'll call you saying they're the IRS, paying money, or they're going to come after you and lock you in jail. The warrant, they're going to come after you again. Fake charities, debt collectors. One good one is Microsoft. Guy will call up, say, "I'm from Microsoft. Your computer's in big trouble. Here, I don't trust me. I'm not going to remote into your computer. I just want you to verify something for me." They tell you to click some keys on your keyboard, open a special little window in your computer, and read them, and they read you the number. Say, "Look, I'm going to verify that we know your computer's infected. Here's the number we see." They read you a long number. That number's the same on every computer. It's a very clever scam. It builds confidence. Microsoft will never call you. The IRS is not going to extort you for money over the phone. It's not going to happen. Okay. So now the positive part. Here's how you don't fall for these 5 things. Okay. 2-factor authentication is the single most important thing that you can do for your email. Here's what that means. Here's what that costs. Cost money, 0. Cost time, it takes me about 5 seconds a month. I log into my email once a month. It says, "Hey, thanks for logging in. I'm going to send a text message to your phone." Type in the 5 digits. Text message comes in. I type in beep, bop, boop, bop, beep. I log in that email. It says, "Great. It won't ask me again for another month." I mean, you're used to it. You use it for your, when you log into your bank account and stuff like that. But I could call and I could give them the password of my email, and they would type it in, and it would send a text message to my phone here in Charlottesville, Virginia, and they wouldn't get in. It's free. You can turn it on with almost most of the current email systems now offer it for free. And then monitored antivirus and proactive patching. If you're medical, this is super important, because if you don't do it, you're breaking the law. But one of the first things the malware does is lobotomizes the antivirus software. Your little Norton icon, it's just going to sit there and look pretty and do nothing. We've found people that have had malware on their computer for years. We look at the install date. Years and years just mining data, looking for credit card numbers and stuff like that. So Monitor antivirus, proactive patching. Okay, if you're gonna get Crypto Locker, just have a backup tool. A backup tool with versions that's offsite. That way you pay them nothing, you restore your data. It's that simple. Okay, this is mainly for people who can transfer money or pay bills. You need to have two-factor on this as well. Somebody emails you, please transfer money. You say, great, give me a call. So you send an email, you have a call verification, you know that it's real. Two-factor is so important. Okay, I mean, this maybe applies to you if you have a website. It's kind of altruistic. You want to make sure that you're not hacking your friends, people who visit you. So this is how you would stop that problem. You can get a good host. And a good host is not your $10 a month host, but it's a host that will block unapproved code changes so you don't become part of the problem. And then protect your own computer against websites that have crappy protection. All right, this is like the Target thing again, right? If you get access to, if you take credit cards, your computer's definitely a target if you're swiping cards on it. The best way to avoid being shut down again is to be PCI compliant, so you're not liable. Just follow the rules, and the rules will help you out. And then when you get one of those crazy calls, just hang up the phone. Hang up the phone is the best way to do it. Don't be suckered into the fear. It's always some sort of fear tactic, some sort of urgency, which is not going to exist in reality. All right, so the things we talked about. Data lost, data stolen, technology shuts you down. Here's what you do. Expect your stuff to fail. Have that spare laptop. Have a backup, knowing one day the hard drive is going to fail, lightning's going to strike, it's going to be encrypted with versions. It's so worth it. Just be proactive. Don't, back in the day, where people drive their cars, don't change the oil, engine melts, call the mechanics. Oh gosh, my car is broken, please fix it. They come out, fix the engine, get back on, start driving it again. The car industry is an old industry. People know that you have to maintain it. People get oil changes. The computer industry is relatively new. People are not used to the computer oil changes, but they're so critical, and they save you money in the long run to pay for that maintenance. And then have a good IT consultant that can ask the questions you don't know. So what I did is, I'm going to add in the link below, I'm going to add a to-do list. It's just a checkbox. You can give it to your trusted IT consultant. Say, please go through these items. And this will help to prompt them to think about some things that you need to do to keep yourself safe. So download that, give that to them for certain. Now, the only other thing I want to show you about is I want to show you our services, what we do at QuickFix and why we do it. So we no longer do break fix stuff. Used to be, we were like the car guy, most computer companies, oh my gosh, it's broken. We drive out, fix the computer, give them a high five, and walk away till the next time it breaks. We don't do that anymore. What we do now is we do maintenance. We do monitoring. We provide everything that you need. Basically, what we give is a recipe. And this recipe can change. Lots of our clients don't know that a couple months ago we swapped out all the antivirus software for every client we have with the different one because it was better. If you get infected, we fix it for free. If you have a problem, some of our plans, we fix it for free because that way we are financially invested in your company and you having no problems, you having quiet. The goal is we're like the power company. You walk in, you flick on the light switch. When you flick on the light switch and lights don't come on, you're surprised. Very, very surprised. It's not when you come and flicks the lights, you're like, oh, well, it's that same problem again. Electricity is not on. That's not who we want to be. So these products, if done correctly, really kind of work together to give a seamless, wonderful solution. So, for instance, workstations. All the things that you would need to keep a workstation protected are in this. All the things you would need to keep a workstation protected and backed up are right here. And all the things that and if you want unlimited remote support on that workstation, it's right here. We also have links to the HIPAA compliance and PCI compliance we offer, And then, we have minimum requirements. We have to make sure you have good technology so we can keep it good. These tools won't make crappy technology run awesome. They keep good technology running well. So I'm not going to go through the whole site. Just wanted to show you what we're about, what we do. And the reason we do it is because I don't like a frantic life. 911 calls are not fun for me. They're not fun for our techs. They're not fun for our clients. Nobody likes 911 calls. So the goal is quiet, peace, and a mindful existence in today's hectic world. That is the goal, and that's what we offer. Thanks for listening.